the movie. Okay, first off, no spoilers for the next 5 seconds. 10 out of 10, easy. Every Star Wars movie is going to be. I would recommend go see it. There you go. That's the spoiler-free intro to the stream, but we're getting into spoilers today. I watched Mando and Grogu this morning, and wow, I'm still, you know, I'm still. There are things that I have not comprehended right now. Still going through it. It was crazy. It was so much better than I thought it would be as well. Somehow, it is quite hot in this room. You know what? I didn't think of doing. I could just dim the light. I mean, do we need the light? I could turn it off. We can make it green. Oh, I like that. I've not had control over the light on this phone yet. So could do. What's a Mando color? It's got to be green for Grogu, doesn't it? We could just green screen out the back if we wanted to. No, I think either dull or just completely off. That's not bad. Whilst I got the desk light on, and also. Hello there, hello there. Hello there, yes, hello there to the spoilers as well. Hello there, Tinks, hello there, Moonshoes, hello there, Mark. I did make notes in my notebook. There we go. Little things that, not just what I want to build, but also things that I found interesting. It would be quite good if this stream, I want to go through the sets as well, the Lego sets, now that I've seen the movie. Maybe we can start there and then hop on to the notes and just work through what we can be building, because I've freed up most of next week. Pretty much has been freed. There is one other build I want to put together next week, droid related. Not quite Mando related though. But there's 3, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I want to build something for Mando whilst it's all fresh in my mind. And then like we did more Mondays, I think we bring in Mando Mondays for rest of the year, maybe until 9th Jedi. And then we can have more Mondays work so well. Mando Mondays works so, I'd say that's better, because Mando Monday, both 2-syllable words. And then we've got 9th Jedi. It's like Visions as well, Visions Monday. What language does Monday start with a V? 9th Jedi, or an N. An N would work as well. Oh yes, it's so hot in the UK. UK starting to turn into a frying pan because the days in the UK are starting to get hot. So just a little heads up to those of us in the UK, next week, at least, I think towards the east of England, it's meant to be breaking the record for May. Which is nuts, because at the minute the record's like 32 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that was pretty hot. It's getting up to 36, which is nuts. That's 4 degrees more, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. What did I say? 32 Celsius is about 90 degrees, which is hot for the UK. Our houses are not built for the heat, and it's going up to 97. 7 Fahrenheit. Or, wait, was that the right number? Yes, 7 Fahrenheit or 4 Celsius. So Fahrenheit's almost double. It's handy to know. It was so good. It was, the movie was, it was amazing. It was amazing. Having a cool 95 degrees here. What? 95 is not UK temp. It's not just the humidity or anything. It's the fact that inside it's so much hotter. My computer doesn't run this hot. My computer does get pretty, it doesn't really get hot actually, but if it was to get hot, it wouldn't be getting not as hot as it feels. Not as hot. I think the computer can reach up to like 40 degrees, so I shouldn't really be complaining, otherwise it will start running that. Anyway, so the sets I've also got, check this out chat. That's, wait, why are you so small? Why have you shrunk? Oh, we might have to put, we don't need to see the other bit. Why did it shrink? Oh, you know why? It's because these are all 4K canvases, aren't they? I should be running this at 1080. I'm not running a 4K stream, am I? Because that crashes YouTube sometimes. Okay, it is actually running at 2K. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, 2K we can accept. 2K's all right. We just don't want it running at 4K. There's a new set. There was 151 yesterday we saw, and there's been a new set since this morning because 2 sets either came out or were removed. I haven't seen any. Oh, could it be the 8080? Wait, let's get Star Wars up and just double check it's not the Star Wars set. Is the 8080 official? We got the video for it yesterday whilst we were live. Come on. Come on. Oh, no. No 8080 yet. I'll be keeping an eye out for that because that set does look cool. If that's near 100, that would be a pretty decent set. But what's the new set then? Do we not recognize any of these? Perhaps it's a keychain. Recognize all the keychains so far. I remember seeing the animal building game as well. I don't think it's that. I don't think I'd notice it if I saw it. Oh. Is this new? The BMW. I don't think I recognize that. Morning, snow blizzards. I don't know what the new say. Have we sorted by newest? Yeah, we've sorted by newest, so I think we've gone past it already. Because some of these were released weeks ago now. I don't think they would have been sitting on any set unless it was a big one. And I'd have seen that. Oh, Grand Hotel. I don't recognize that. That could be the new one. I don't think it's Star Wars, so I'm not as fussed looking for it. I've definitely seen that before, yeah. Oh, oopsie daisy Lego. Did you put... Lego, stop leaking your own sets. Oh, Lego. Can I even show... I mean, it's a Lego site. This is not edited, just to make sure like I haven't edited this webpage or anything. There you go, hit it with a refresh, and this is live, so I can't cut this together. This is Chrome. What can I Google? What can I Google to prove this is Chrome? If I put in lego.com, there you go. This is just Google. They've uploaded the confidential images. The heat's getting to Lego. What can we do? Nice wheels, though. Not to be copied or disclosed. I hate to say it, Lego. You've kind of uploaded them to the site. That's got a good little light effect on it. I don't know what that is on the back. Again, I'm not really a car person, but uploading the confidential images. Can I do this with the 8080? Please, thank you. Yeah, I think that was the new one. I must have just missed the Grand Hotel. Well... That was a roller coaster, wasn't it? You were surprised how accurate the Droid versus Mandalorian Grogu set was. Let's bring them up. Let's have a little look through. That's what I want to get to. Now that I've seen Mando and Grogu, and most of us have seen it, or don't worry about spoilers. Your dad's PS5, yes. Shut down earlier. Even that was like, nope. Just kick the bucket. At least it was all right, though. Low to high. Force of habit when I'm looking at Lego Star Wars. See what the sales are like. So, let's start with a set that isn't out yet. That's the one that most of us are still interested in. And that's the Sentry Droid Showdown. That's Mando versus the Droid. Nice that it came with Embo. I still think £45 we could have got a bit more. Because Embo isn't in... No, Embo, you see, Embo kind of is in this fight, but Embo isn't. This is 2 scenes. We've got the door, which I don't think needed to be any bigger. It's a decent size. It represents a door. There's going to be, I might even mock out a bigger door for this set. That's a good idea, because I'd want it to be about the height of the mech. And I do think the mech is a good size. Even though, like, minifigure scale, we're talking about those little Iron Man mechs from the battle pack. I think that's too small for a mech like this. You can fit Grogu on it. Or was it in it? Grogu can fit in it. Yes, so this is a Grogu mech. Grogu's first mech. I love the design of this. What I want to do with this set, let's make some notes. Yeah, we'll go through the book later. What I want to, I think I will be doing a Mando wave like I did with Maul. And what I want to do with this set is build the other Sentry Droid. which for £45, I think we could have seen. The other sentry droid wouldn't have been as big as and detailed as this. It barely features in it. But let's see some mechs. £45 mech. See, we've got Shadow's mech and a little build. They've gone a bit heavier on the detail for this sentry mech, and we do have a little build in the door. I wouldn't have minded another little, or rather than that, because a lot of the £45 ones that aren't Ninjago get them really well. What about Dobby? Circle back to Dobby. Hello there, watching it today. Enjoy. Enjoy. It's like the Scooby-Doo scene. Wonder if we would ever get the other one. The other one would be a good one to include with the huts, which is what they're guarding. We knew that from the trailer already. But if you're tuning in, careful, spoilers for Mando and Grogu. Dobby is a 2-in-1 with Creature. So not only do I want to buy one of these, I want to part out another one and build the other Hut Palace Sentry as an alternate build. And that's going to be a cracking build, because there are a lot of the same colours. Even when we were building the smaller ones, there were a few similar colours, themes throughout. We've just got to get that dome head on top, which will be the hardest thing to do. But we've got some slopes here by the door. They might work if we need them. We do have some slopes on the rest of the build as well. And this mech has a little arm out on the left-hand side. The other mech has a little arm out on the right. So I'd be willing to say that, for the most part, if you build this backwards, so mirror image it, at least the torso, if you flip around some of the pieces on the inside, because I don't know how the slopes would hold up, then all you need to do is add a head on top. Solid 2-in-1 build right there. Still like the figures for it. The fact you get Grogu. It sucks with Grogu that they didn't have the same body as Chopper. Tony Chopper from One Piece. And I don't think Lego knew about this before doing Grogu. For those of you that don't know this, Grogu is from the YouTube animated shorts that Lego have been putting out on Star Wars Kids. They've been doing that since season 1. And this is what Grogu looks like. This is a good Grogu. But Grogu holds a few things, this movie. He has a cane. He has his little wrist launchers as well. I feel like Chopper was the perfect build for it. The issue with the other droid guard is that it's larger than this one. Oh, the good thing is this one doesn't have a head sticking out. So a lot of the height could be the head. Maybe you could thin down and stretch out the torso. I think if I do try to build this into the other one, I will do a full alternate build. It will be easier than trying to use this. And we can also go for some really different details on the arms. They also had the grenade pouches as well. So maybe this crotch piece could be up at the side. Maybe there's like a little flick fire missile as well for the grenades. We can work that out at the time. Minifigures, good. I do like the Grogu. Also a neck bracket. I can't help but think this is a bit too... No, this is good. Grogu's good. But I would have loved the neck bracket or some little sash for this armor. So you got both Grogus in one. I still think that when this set comes out, we don't have any other babies like this. This is brand new. Tony Chopper's hands can move. Kind of see it there. The hands are at slight different angles. I think Grogu needs a Tony Chopper fig. And also, because that's got to be a regular head on top, right? That's not a baby head. It looks the same as the other minifigures. Yeah, that's not a baby head. That is a full-size minifigure head. Oh, camera's gone. Okay. Oh, is it coming back? Usually it comes back after a minute. Am I gonna have to... No, it's not coming back. All right, let's... Bear with me. Anyway, Chopper here. Chopper is using... Oh, I think it is the camera's getting a bit too hot. Come on, you've got this. There we go. Chopper is using a brand new torso. You can also get a neck bracket on Chopper. So that would fix the whole armor thing that I don't think it's a problem. I just think, hey, we're back. Hey, I think it's an oversight. I don't think Chopper's legs are separate either. I assume it's dual molded. So it's one of those things that now that we've got Chopper announced, they could have switched up Grogu, but it's too late in production. Maybe we'll get another Grogu the next year. Mando bog standard. Embo though. Embo isn't involved in the movie as much as I think. I don't think. Feeling camera shy, yes. Or too hot. Maybe it's the light. I could probably turn this down one now that we don't have the big light on. That'll keep it cool. I need a fan just for the camera. There you go. I'll keep fanning it for a little bit. I love this fan. Embo was expecting a little more from, but I think they use Embo well in terms of that whole bounty hunter gun for hire. There's a few complaints of, you know, not feeling attached to Embo, not really knowing who he is. He's there for Clone Wars fans. He's there, and he's got a new pup as well. Because I don't know if this is canon, is it Boba Fett kill his old pup? I think Boba Fett does. I think it's Boba Fett that kills his old pup. It's in a deleted scene, I know that, but the deleted scene might have been included in a book since. I don't know, I'm not too well versed on books. What did I need to kick that? Definitely wish we got the Mandalorian with his pulse rifle. Yes, so just before this scene, there's the droid, what do they call it? The droid ship. I don't think we got, oh, I think it was just a droid runner. Yeah, we didn't get any specifics of it. It's this droid with a tic-tac shaped head. And they had the full arsenal. I said before watching this movie, I said months ago, that Mando gets, at the time we thought the first Warlord had the Razor Crest. So we knew Mando was getting the Razor Crest. And I said, our next thing, you know, he'll run another job and he'll get the weapons to fill a weapons rack inside. And he kind of gets the weapons, he kind of gets them from the droid runner, but they have cases like he had. They have all sorts of knives. They have Amban sniper rifle, which seems better than the one he had before. A lot better. And yeah, it would have done well in this. I think this suffers from Cobb Vanth's speeders. The same issue as Cobb Vanth's speeders. Speeder. Not speeders. Only one of them, thankfully. I think Lego did his minifigure is extremely accurate. This one is more movie accurate. Same with Bo-Katan. The Embo minifigure. This is a very Spider-Droid adjacent build. Let's see if we can get the both of them up. We've got Vanth Speeder. What I mean by Vanth Speeder is when Cobb Vanth is showdowning with Cad Bane, Cobb Vanth isn't wearing the armor. He's already given it back to Boba at this point. But for Cobb Vanth to fit with the speeder, he should have his armor. So Cad Bane's just been slid in on the side as a bonus figure because Mando's already in the speeder. And I think it would have been outrageous to include Mando as an extra fig in this set. I still think we should have got maybe a separate torso. Maybe two Cobb Vanths. Maybe two Cobb Vanths isn't a push for this because of the armor, or a new armor piece to go over Cobb Vanth's torso like we've got on our custom. I probably will be sliding that across. But yeah, this is a great set for figs. £25. This is lower than £20 now on sales. I've seen it drop to like 18, 19, start of May. But it's the same thing here. We've got Mando and Grogu against the Sentry, and rather than like Shadow just including the one figure, they've decided to, I don't know if this is being picked up in the mic. I hope not. I've actually got the wind thing on, but I don't think you're meant to be creating tornadoes right next to the mic. The thing with this droid is when Mando first faces up against him, he has like a pistol, and that is it. Whereas now, Embo in the mix, Embo should have been included in with the twins. Maybe even one of the twins in this set, and then the other twin with Embo, with Rotta. The movie is essentially about Rota. I've jotted down a few times, we'll get into it, about what the movie's about, because it's core to knowing if it's a good movie or not, if you can find out what the movie's about. Really, the Mandalorian and Grogu is what the movie's about, but it is somewhat about Rota. It starts off and it's like, okay, it's about the ship. This is a how Mando got a new ship sort of story. And then you're like, actually, this happens. Oh, and this happens. And this happened as well. And you start realizing, well, actually, it's just about the Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, they're the main characters. We're following them through at least 8 episodes. I think this could be broken down into 8 episodes, which is good for a movie, because a series does that so you can get attached to the characters. Same with Ahsoka. Ahsoka season 2 is going to be great, but Ahsoka season 2, maybe Ahsoka returns to the galaxy for a movie. I think series are great to lead up to movies. Ninjago didn't take off. I think Ninjago now with Dragon's Rising, if they did 3 series and then a movie which followed the continuity, it might pop off. It's like the big huzzah. You just cut, you trim all the fat from the series. And yeah, it was like 8 episodes of content. I think especially with the new clip piece, his rifle definitely could be improved and not be too long. Yeah. I still like the pistol. Actually, we get the pistol in the set, so they could have included the hilt and the clip with the bar. And then there you go, there's the Amban sniper rifle, because it's shiny in this one. It's brand new, and I can't remember the name of the pup. Kaibu. I don't know if we hear Kaibu spoken, because again, Embo's meant to be this bounty hunter. And I don't think there's any bad blood between Embo and Mando at the end of the movie. Embo starts off just tracking Mando, and I think he's pulling Mando back to Nalhata. That was Embo's job, wasn't it? And yeah, bring him before the twins. And yeah, that worked. He got paid. He went away. Mando and him didn't really, like, if Mando would have killed Kaibu, there would have been some bad blood. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if Mando killed Kaibu? Embo would go. Really liked Rota. I would love to see a brick-built Rota, not just a baby one. I think having like a baby Rota added to the Grogu collection, that's fun. That'd be in a Clone Wars set. But it would have been great to have seen a brick-built Rota. Maybe a twin in this, maybe a twin in with... There's so many other sets they can make, though. And before, I think... Yeah, we got the door. That's pretty cool. It reminds me of the extra door piece for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This is the door that enters that. It doesn't have the snake, but has the little Hut logo, I think. This is on Now Hutta. So technically, there'll be a load of thumbnails and titles. Lego makes Now Hutta before Jedi Temple. Although again, if we're speaking technically, they've given us a lamp from the Jedi Temple, so we'll be taking that. I already had them open. The Imperial Lambda class shuttle. That's series 2, season 2, but that's a brand new set, and it's been how many years? I think we will get a ton of sets from this movie for the next year, at least. It did so well. And it's doing so well, technically. It's just come out in the UK, still day 1. You liked how the twins got their comeuppance despite their confidence? Yes. I like that, because you don't see that happening. Jabba did not go that way. The twins being overconfident in their dragon snake, which I had seen before. I've been all day, I've got absolutely no work done. I have been just going through different articles and different... Oh, I don't have the dragon snake one up. Dragon snake. Here we go. All one word. Yeah, all one word. We have seen... Let me just get rid of all these little pop-ups. We have seen it before in the Clone Wars. I recognized it, and it is from Nauha. It's when, I think it's during the whole Rota arc, that we see one out in the wild. And it was nice to bring that back. I felt that with Mando. It was not just a way to explore the Mando story. That's dying. That, oh, maybe it's the camera, actually. That isn't as dark as it looks. It's a way to have drawn Mando into the wider Star Wars universe. I think Mando was very Western Lone Ranger out on his own, and then season 2 felt weird because of how many characters were popping up. This was bringing the rest of the world, like those Clone Wars bits we haven't seen since 30 BBY almost, more like 25, bringing those in to the universe, and they did it so well. I can't wait to see what... If Favreau works on another Star Wars project. I think Mando's ready for a season 4 now. He's back up to where he was. We can throw something else at him because, and we'll get into this a bit later, Mando's working his way through the Shadow Council. We know, thanks to some of the books, they could rewrite it and they could do different things with the content we've already got. But we know that at least one, I think a few of them make it out. But of the 10 members we saw in season 3, Mando's gone after 3 of them now. He just got 2 in this movie from the Shadow Council. Like, how crazy is that? We'll get into all the members and through 4. Wait, is he through 4 now? 1, 2, 3. Wait. No, because he's through 3. 3 out of 10. Bit funny how they only had a picture of Baby Rota. That's an actual puppet. That's an actual puppet they used for Rota. They made a puppet and they only used Rota as a hologram. But Rota's kind of like cute cursed. How you'd imagine Baby Jabba, and then try and make it look a bit more wormy, which... it kind of worked for it. Oh yeah, Cobb Vamps. We don't even need that. Crazy how Lego have been putting up confidential images. They should have someone check that. And not just us. Not just me and, you know, not even the LAN members. Have someone in the Lego team. That's a confidential image. Not meant to be leaked. I'm happy with the sets Lego put out. I'm not necessarily happy with the way it's been done. I'm not too unhappy with it. Like, I'm not going to cause a riot. I think it's fair. Actually, the brickheads, I have no complaints with the brickheads. That pack, could they have dropped the snow trooper? Maybe. Allies and villains, we thought that Ward was going to be a villain. No, Ward hero for the New Republic, Anzelon hero for the New Republic now, Grogu Mando the same, and we've just got the snow trooper. I think the Snowtrooper should have been a Soul one, and the Snowtrooper could have included like 3 extra pieces to be an Empire Strikes Back one, so you're marketing to more fans. Whack Zeb in there. That would have gone great. We've already built a Sabine, Ezra, and Hera brickheads from Rebuild the Galaxy. A Zeb brickheads in this pack. All we need is a Kanan brickheads to come out in a few years' time for a Rebels anniversary. A Kanan and Gondu? What was oh, I'm gonna have to find it now. What was the big thing that Kanan had that whole arc with? Not Dune. Age of the Empire. Yes, it was right towards the end. Claudite? What's the Claudite? A Claudite. Right, we can't go down. Oh, Alexander Wessel. Okay, there we go. What is the name of Bendu? Thank you, Snow. Bendu. Yes, a Kanan and Bendu brickheads would be amazing. So we could have had Zeb. Maybe I got to build Zeb now. That'd be a fun build. Yeah, Ward is a very simple build, but definitely a figure we needed. Perhaps for Ward, I'm noticing they've used a red 1x1. That's just not accurate. Ward has a silver lapel looking thing with 3 red dots in a line and then another one bottom outer corner. So printed part there for Brickheads should have been necessary, especially because Mando got a few printed parts, Snowtrooper did, Grogu got the armor, and Zelen didn't get any printing. But I don't think the Anzellen, I don't know, maybe on the chest, because that piece there comes down over the body, whereas there's no body on this Anzellen. It looks more like a bib. So I think the Anzellen could have done with a little bit of printing on the underside as well. But overall, good Brickheads pack. Should have just been a Heroes pack. Fully agree. Whack Zeb in there. All right, let's jot that down. Let's get a little Zeb Brickheads going at some point. Zeb Aurelius, which was voiced by the same person, I do believe, pretty sure. And also, how many people stayed for the credits? No mid-post credit scene. I don't want to have any heart attacks in chat. Star Wars doesn't do that sort of thing, and I'm quite happy they don't, because Star Wars never needed to. Marvel, I feel like Marvel expected more people too. I don't know about everyone, but at least for me, I like staying to the end for the music. The Star Wars music cannot be beat. You stay to the end, you hear the scores through, and I've got Ludwig's album of Mando that he put out like a week ago, ready to run through as well, either tonight or tomorrow morning, just so I can hear all the songs, hear all the music. And yeah, it's so nice. We stayed to the end. They had a few different songs as well in different styles that we didn't recognize. I think they had like 3-4 songs play through the credits, but the reason I'm talking about the credits is because there was a certain droid credited as the air traffic control droid, which, come to think of it, air traffic control droid, is that for the New Republic? Or was that for Now Hutta? That was probably for Now Hutta. That was probably the one that said launch the fighters. That droid, does anyone know who voiced that droid? Anyone know? I've got it written down. I do know. It would be ironic if Boba Fett would become the daimyo of Now Hutta. There were so many other Hutts. Yeah, actually, there were so many other Hutts. The twins fell into the Dragon Snake, and then the New Republic just bombed the palace. That's most of the dodgy Hutts and anyone caught in the crossfire gone now. So yeah, the Hutts are kind of gone. The New Republic just wiped out the Hutts, which I can see how the Resistance broke off from the New Republic, and the New Republic didn't want anything to do with the Resistance because they just randomly go off and bomb the Hutts. They have been working with them for the most part. The Hutts are on record, at least the twins, working and feeding information to the New Republic, but no, scrap that. We're missing the fact that Ward says at the end the Hutts were lying and feeding information to the Imperials anyway. So that was no good. That's why they probably bombed them, for being imps. Imp spies. Yeah, that gets you a few white wings to the noggin. Bit of a war crime there. Still very much a war crime, for sure. No chance that in the time they were on Now Hutta, the New Republic got that passed through the right courts. No chance. They just went with it and did it instead. Yeah, Boba Fett, I can't wait for season 2. If we don't get season 2, I am going to be pissed. Boba Fett season 1 set this up. Mando movie has now put it in motion that Boba Fett doesn't have the twins looking over his shoulders. He's dealt with the Pikes. Where's our crime lord Boba? He would be such a good crime lord because he wouldn't be like the Hutts. He's gone through that bounty hunter. Like, we're not talking about nepo babies here, which is what if Rotter at any point was to pick up crime, is what he'd be into. So I'm happy Rotter joined the New Republic. Get him an X-Wing suit that fits, or maybe the U-Wing. We hollowed out the U-Wing last May. Wow, that was a year ago. Should rebuild that. I wish I kept that built for Mando, the U-wing, but it's slightly different. Different paint on the side of it. If you're a New Republic officer, you'd have gone for a second run just to make sure. Yeah, they didn't know the twins fell into the dragon snake. You know, just to make sure. No witnesses. Crazy. I mean, this is the huts we're talking about. I'd love to see a Rotter brickheads. I'd love to see the huts. We could get Jabba. We could get Godula. I've never said that out loud. I've not thought about it this much. Godula the Hutt from Clone Wars. We can get a grown Rotter. We can get the twins, and they can have Return of the Jedi, Clone Wars, Book of Boba Fett, Mando on the box. And again, you're catering to multiple audiences. I just want a box of huts. Just get me a few more huts. Maybe a few more sail barges to pick up the hut. I don't know. How much is Jabba? How much is Jabba worth? Let me bring him up. All right. Oh, I think this is the new one. This is olive green with grey wrinkles compared to olive green with dark tan wrinkles. That looks to be the new one. It's a clearer image, yeah. And then this is the one that we got elsewhere in the palace and in the sail barge. We'll do a palace. I don't think Lego will do a palace for too long. Oh, look! It's our boy Rotter. We needed a Rotter. How much? Not crazy bad, but not nice. Anyway, wait. Hold on a second. We're talking 30 quid. Oh, yeah, that's going to cost way too much to get it from America. And there's only the right arm. The arms look the same. Maybe the thumb is on the different... Oh, the other camera. Oops, I forgot that I had a fourth screen. Yeah, no desk cam today. I was going to be sorting a few bits, but I think I'll save that for another time. If I'm sorting, I'm distracting myself from these Mando sets. Brickhead's cool. Snowtrooper for Zeb. I think that's the big improvement there. The AT-RT attack. This turret. Where was this turret? Where was that turret? I don't remember the turret being in... No turret. No turret in the movie. Did I look away when the turret was like driven by or something? Also, the writing, like just sneak peek at the bottom of that book. Look at that. I went so long writing almost perfectly. I didn't miss a line here and there. And then there was one point, because it's pitch black, I couldn't see what I was writing. So it was a surprise when the credits stopped and the lights come on to see how well it turned out. I'm quite impressed with that. Surprised we haven't got a Jabba brickheads. Oh, that would be so good. Yeah, we didn't see the turret. So I'll probably save the turret for a Hoth build at some point. We'll get back round to Hoth, I'm sure. But especially with the clone series that I want to happen, the animated clone series. No news on it yet, but it's about only a matter of time. It's a good build, but now that we know the AT-RT is the only part of this that actually shows up, really, you're paying £40 for an AT-RT and one trooper. It should have been a battle pack. This is a great opportunity to have a battle pack with one AT-RT driver, because that'd be piloting the turret. Maybe two snowtroopers. One driver, two troopers, and you could kind of do two drivers in the AT-AT, which we didn't see in the Lego video that we looked at yesterday. Lego have kind of announced the AT-AT, not giving us full specs, but there was not a pilot, maybe a general or some other ranking up before pilot, above pilot, and then below the warlord. And they had this sort of armor with Thrawn's helmet. Let's keep a Brickhouse tab open. It was the helmet of Thrawn. Wait, does it come with Thrawn? I thought it came in the set with Thrawn. Maybe not. It's the AT-ST pilot helmet. This one. There you go. I know it came out in white. I thought that was with Thrawn. No, in an advent calendar, it came out in white. So would have been a good time to have brought that back. Maybe use this as a top for the Snowtrooper. But yeah, one of the AT-RT pilots with a Imperial pilot helmet in AT2 and AT3. There were 3 of them. Definitely not picking up 3 of those AT-AT sets, no matter how good they are. Personally, scrap the turret and charge 30 Aussie dollars for it. That's about 25 quid, which is respectable if you've got maybe a few Snowtroopers in. I think keep Mando. I think Mando could work in place of the awkward pilot that I mentioned, but obviously I've got Mando, so I would swap Mando out for a pilot. Let's keep Mando and Grogu. Put the... Oh, a mouse droid. A mouse droid would have worked in this as well. That trooper gets blasted to smithereens. That was nuts. The trooper gets blasted. We just sat there. Okay. Remind me not to mess with Mando on an AT-RT. And then the AT-AT. Oh, Lego. Lego. We get the AT-RT set. And what does the AT-RT do? Get destroyed. Yes. Yes, get destroyed, crushed under an AT-AT, and we're about to get an AT-AT set. What happens to that? Also gets destroyed. Razor Crest. What happens to that in the post-credit scene? It blows up spontaneously. No, there was no post-credit scene. Yeah, the Razor Crest survives, the Anzelon Starship survives, and the New Republic X-Wing survives. So, that's 3, not including the Brickheads and Grogu. That's the AT-RT and the AT-AT. Oh, and the droid. Actually, yeah, that droid kind of blows up. So we're 3 for 6 in terms of these models being around or not. But I think this New Republic X-Wing could stay on shelves till next year, and you could then have a red Starfighter next to it. I think throw in, what's his name? The guy who's playing the main character in Starfighter next year with Trapper Wolf. They want to add another set with the kid, that would be a fun build. But yes, AT-RT, scrap the turret, and maybe add one of the other pilots. That'd be a fun build. Also, I'm gonna have to rework those legs to be fig scale. The AT-RT in the movie, the positions, the speed that it was running down. Oh, we've never seen an AT-RT move like that. It was gorgeous. And these legs are not cutting it. I'm going to add ball joints. Maybe we'll double lock the hinges. And I want posability just like the Mantellian Savarit. I want this level of posability where you can just like move bits wherever you want. Kind of stop motion puppet like with the ball joints. Ball joints are underrated in Star Wars sets. We need to see more ball joints. And this AT-RT... Oh, this with some ball joints on the legs. I mean, we've already got the connections. The hardest part is the fact that ball joints don't go on plates like this. There's no ball joint that fits. So I'd add a Technic brick maybe, or a snot brick. A snot brick that gets studs on 2 sides. Yeah, we could probably work a bracket for the outside or inside toe. And then we can run a ball joint on a stick and then get that connected. Then the leg can spin out. Good set otherwise though. I think a few of these sets are holding up quite nicely. Oh, look at the figures in this. This is a great set. Yeah, makes sense. The Trooper is in reference to, what's his name? Coin's base. Janu? I don't know if it was Janu. I've got it up on a tab. Oh, I don't actually. But I know I can get it up. I put, how did I spell the name? Coinjdahnu, because I wasn't sure if it was Janu or Danu. It sounded like it was Janu. So Coin Janu's base, but Janu Coin. Oh yeah, wait, did I flip it? Coin Janu. Janu Coin. Janu. That sounds right. And I think it's a reference to the actor's name, isn't it? Let's Mandalorian and Grogu. Come on, Google, give me the cast. We've got, because Johnny Coin. So it's Janu Coin. I think it's a reference to the actor's name, because we haven't seen the character outside of season 3. They were in season 3. And I don't know if we're getting Janu Coin. We're getting the Imperial Warlord in the AT-AT. We've got Gideon. And Janu Coin would have gone nice with this. Actually, bringing Janu back to... Maybe that would have been too spoiler territory for LEGO. After the fact, this is why I don't mind waiting a month for... A month. June is round the corner. It's June 1st in just over a week. June 1st drop for the Mando sets. That gives a week buffer. They'd announce them sooner. There's no real way that works unless they hold off until the movie's out. And then it'd be awkward for people that have... I mean, I'll be honest, if you're making content on LEGO, you've probably seen the movie. If you can spend LEGO money, you've probably gone to the cinema for content creation. We're talking here, not just general public. It would be awkward to try and run around it, but also Coin's in the trailer. Is they not? Are they not? Maybe they're not. Still sucks about the interior. I do want to build the Razor Crest now, but I want to hollow it out and add. We've seen the bed. We've seen like the little net that holds Rotter. Rotter would have been so good in any one of these sets. If we don't get a Rotter, if we don't get a heart, massive disappointment from LEGO. Massive. Ironically, going off Imperial rank, the other Imperial officers outrank the Warlord. Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? We're at this remnant stage, and Warlords are whoever they say they want to be, and everyone else just doesn't want to lead. They've seen what happened to the Emperor and Vader. They're like, you know what? I'll just follow some orders for a bit. Not that that's better. You think the Anzellan starship is oversized? Oh, yeah, definitely, because the Anzellans are oversized. I wonder if it scales to the Anzellan ship. All right. Does the Anzellan starship scale to the Anzellans? And definitely doesn't scale to Mando, because Mando said he can't fit in... This is going to be a Titanic Rose and Jack on the door situation. Mando's, no, I can't fit. What do you mean you can't fit? Mando could have fit. They fit a battle droid in there, which we were misled. I thought the Anzellans were going to be behind the droid army. Funny that I thought the Anzellans would be behind the droid army, and with the droid standing next to the hut, I never pieced together that the Anzellans could have been evil. They could have programmed all these droids for the huts, because they're putting them together here, and we got the droid with the Anzellan in the advent calendar. Basic droid. Yeah, I don't think LEGO had much to go off for the droid, so I'm not going to hold that against them. But we do need a droid battle pack as well. STAP, give us maybe a droid ship. Hold on. All right, join that down. Droid ship, because the droid ship that we saw in the movie, we have seen in LEGO before. He had the correct rank plaque for a commander, but a bit funny, the other Warlord had the plaque of a lieutenant, whilst his AT-AT commanders had the rank plaques of generals. As soon as we got out the cinema, right, we said, when it comes to Disney Plus, we're going to be watching it, pausing it. Oh, look at the background, because... All right, we'll get to the notes in a second. I did spot a few things in the background, certain characters that popped up from Rebels, from the original trilogy, and some of the other references. Anthony Daniels' voice in the droid, that little bit. I love the little details, and that's been done on purpose. That isn't a movie mistake. There'll be a few videos. Can't believe Filoni and Favreau missed this. They didn't. That's been done so purposefully, because if they didn't think about it, then they wouldn't have included it. They did that on purpose because that's how it is in the books, and that's how it has been. The Remnant Empire, they're not, ranked properly. They're not abiding by these ranks. There's just so many people stepping up, taking charge out of position, and they've just got their uniform. They haven't even thought of taking that off because they've just been so focused on trying to survive, and You know, bring back the Empire, bring back Thrawn. Anzelin Starship does look pretty good, but maybe we should build a minifigure scale. Let me add that. Because minifigure scale, I mean, this ship was like the height of the Mandalorian. Seeing the Anzelin Starship in the sky with the X-Wings and Y-Wings jumping out of hyperspace, that was almost as beautiful as the opening shot with the U-Wing. That was a good one. Oh, look, and the little Macrons as well. They're probably to scale with Grogu. Bit too small for the Anzelins. Would be sick if we got something like this. Maybe this is Brickhead scale. I know in the cockpit you could fit 2 Anzelins and Grogu, but the cockpit wasn't that big either. Yeah, the Anzelin Starship's a good one. Razor Crest should have come with Janu Coin, because we might not get him in a set. And then Stormtrooper Battle Pack. Stormtrooper Battle Pack with the speeder. There is the problem that the land speeder was included, the Mandalorian one, in the clone pack. This January. But in the land speeder that we see Janu Coin, maybe Coin can be included, because he doesn't have a jacket. He does just have the Imperial uniform. That'd be a good way to include the uniform. Actually, that'd be a really good way to include the uniform in an army pack. And because Janu's not too specific, there are other of the same rank throughout Star Wars. That'd be a really good way. So that could be an extension of the Razor Crest. And that would be the blue land speeder. Going to be building that minifigure scale. That would be good. I liked how there were droid mercenaries. Yeah. And Mando trusted the droid. He said, I know someone, and called in a droid. Oh, I was getting flashbacks for Mando. When he was fighting off the droids in the forest and the B2 jumped him and the B2 was over him with the knife, I got flashbacks to Mini Mando in the bunker with the B2 over him with his arm out with the blaster charge, and then the Mando saves him. But Mando can hold up. Mando saved himself this time. The poetry in this movie was crazy. The Doug with the hut, that was also... It didn't play out as much as I thought. I thought he was going to be a bit more of a grumpy Yoda-esque character, Empire Strikes Back. But did help out Grogu quite a bit and saved Mando, potentially. We don't know how well the Force would work. It's definitely not like Return of the Jedi where everyone has the rank of Commander and Captain. Yeah, just the same plaques mass-produced. Like Star Wars would get a mold and just use it, or get like the same badges and have a few different tags on them. Yeah, they didn't have to make sense there. Even before that. You think Janu Coin was just wearing civilian clothes? That would be even better. Or would it? Hold on. Better? Was it better? Yeah, maybe he didn't have any imperialness about him because in disguise. He was probably smart enough to take off his rank. Razor Crest. Pretty good, needs an interior. New Republic X-Wing. I think this is another X-Wing. £60 is... It's not bad. It's not great. We get 2 pilots and a droid. Perhaps get in Ward's droid, because this is Carson Taver's droid. Do we know Colonel Ward's droid? Or astromech? Do we know what their droid looks like? Because this is Carson Taver. We get a look at it again. If only I could pull up screenshots from the movie. It's so annoying that it's in cinemas. I don't have any photos. I have a few little drawings that I've put together for these things. This is opposite my May releases, by the way. This is the same book that almost forgot it, had to run back for it. Same book that I've been jotting down my thoughts on all the sets. But yeah, I didn't get a good look at Ward's droid. Lego perhaps also didn't get a good look, but they could have included a droid. They could have included a random droid. That wouldn't have worked. And I didn't realize until just now that we get the helmet with Ward. That'd be nice. Oh, that's a reason to pick up the set then. Pick up the helmet with it. See how much that sells for, but I do want an X-Wing Ward. We're getting Teva in the Advent. We've got a green droid in the Arc 170, and the X-Wing torso and legs is same old, same old. It's mainly that helmet and potentially the face, it might be new. But you can always put together this one because I think it's an exclusive head and the Razor Crest. Could have searched for Ward. Then I wouldn't have had to have remembered the space. I think it was the production oversight, but it was funny that all the Imperial officers in Jedi, from Moff Jarrah to Piet, had the rank plaque of Captain. Definitely an oversight, but yeah, it doesn't make it any less funny. It's an exclusive head, so we get an exclusive head with an angrier face. That's when Mando sabotages the Hutt's connection. Whereas, oh wait, no, that's the same minifigure. This one has the visor on the back. I'm not fussed with the visor. I think the helmet is good enough for Lego. The chin strap and visor, I'd rather get two heads and then have this. So I might try to grab the other head. Look, cheap X-Wing figure parts. It's the head and the helmet that are expensive. Fair dues. That'll be an exclusive character. And we'll probably get another X-Wing next year. How many X-Wings do we have on shelf right now? We got the New Republic and, oh, Smart Play. So we'll do another X-Wing this year. I think Smart Play might retire at the end of the year, because they'd have to turn around, like the new features the Smart Brick will have next time we see it. And there's rumored to be 2 more drops this year. If they come out with new things, Star Wars is going to have to keep up next year. And it'd be nice to get away from original trilogy. I wouldn't mind a Smart Play Mando set, not in any of the sets we've got, but just to include one with a build that isn't too important. Whack Mando Grogu in there. I think that would be a fun little playset. Grogu. Still think this should have been a poly bag, but with Grogu's, it makes sense why they brought Grogu back as a buildable character. The one thing that doesn't make sense about this set still with Grogu is, well, let's see how many Grogus there are on shelves, because there's one that catches my eye straight away. Grogu with hover pram. Okay, Grogu with hover pram. It's a smaller build. Whatever I did, undo it. No, bring back Grogu. No, get rid of the... Oh, what have I done? I didn't mean to add it to a group. So it's clearly a smaller build. This one can be marketed for a bit more. And it's an outdated pod as well. But we already have a Grogu at this size. So my problem isn't necessarily how big this one is. I think we needed a UCS Grogu. I think either a poly bag of the belt to add to some of your old Grogu builds, make that like a May special thing, and then make a massive upscaled Grogu, build Grogu life size, essentially build Grogu life size, and have Grogu like the Maul bust of old. That would have been an amazing set. Would have been expensive. Easily out the gate, double this price. Even if we're using 2x4 bricks, which is the cheapest way Lego could do it. And still get a similar thing for the pouch. And then you could also have a pouch big enough to fit in grenades and other things other than the last crumb of the Macron. You think they'll keep Smart Plate until 2028, a little longer? Yeah, it depends how much money they've made from it. They might want it on shelves for a little bit. And also missed those the first time. The little wrist launchers. Watch out for those wrist rockets. All right, we're going to have to close them to delete the group now. The sets aren't terrible, but they miss out on so much because they came out before the movie. This Hutt Sentry droid, I think this also could have come out with the rest. Who knows why it's delayed? But we do know we're getting more sets August 1st. Probably is going to be when the AT-AT comes out. They could announce that. I don't think that spoils anything unless there's the Int 4 in the AT-AT, which we don't see a speeder bike. There are speeder bikes in the Lego set, in the Lego video. None in the actual scene. None in the movie. I mean, it makes sense. Why would they have speeder bikes? It's meant to be like the original AT-AT design. Because a lot of the designs, even the Snowtroopers, are built based off... I think I've got a Funko of the original Snowtrooper. Built based off Ralph McQuarrie's concept art. And some of the shots in this movie, you look up and you're like, that looks like a concept art. That could be a concept art. I still think the dragon snake with the snake popping up and staring down at both Mando and then later the twins, that's concept art. That feels like it's concept art. I don't know where I'd have seen it. It just feels like it is, and I can't explain it. Spoilers in this stream. Careful if you haven't seen it. A bit funny, the Death Star display at the Lego store has the New Republic X-Wing. Do it in the trench run. I suppose it's the out of the two, the better display set, isn't it? Because of the playability with the smart brick. So that doesn't work. But yeah, we're gonna get so many more builds from Mando. I think even the AT-RT driver helmet, it's not perfect. This helmet I do love for multiple reasons. It's not just the AT-RT helmet that this could be built into. You recolor this, it's Scarif. It's an Imperial transport. It's an Imperial transport from Vader Immortal, from Mando, from Rogue One, from comics. There's so many different... It's a tank driver from Rogue One. There are so many different helmets that use this build. This is the perfect time for Mando. We've got Mando's helmet. Grogu doesn't have a helmet yet. That will be adorable if they tried to give him that. Lego don't want to do droids. We'd probably get some regular droids before any of the ones in Mando. Embo's dish is a little extra. That feels like the... to be fair though, the X-Wing pilot helmet did quite well. Wouldn't mind a few variants of that. We've also... What are the helmets? Like, we've already got the AT-AT drivers. I don't think they'll do just the dome for the AT-ST style pilots. We haven't got a Snowtrooper helmet, but the Snowtrooper helmet in Mando doesn't look like the real, like the Empire Strikes Back one, the original one. This one can be built in so many different ways. The movie was amazing. I definitely recommend going and seeing it. And if you do care about spoilers, yeah, this stream is spoiler heavy in chat and in what we're talking about. So I'll give you a few seconds to click off whilst I grab... Actually, before we get to that tab, I did make notes. I made notes on the movie. What did I write? Can I even read this? It doesn't help that the light is over there. Oh, the very first thing I spot was the Warlord table shootout. It happens just at the end of the corridor we've already built. One of our first trailer builds, which I put a swift stop to so that we could be building things when we see the Mando movie. And now we've seen the movie, we can build more scenes. But where Grogu is here, nope, where Grogu is here, the camera's got it flipped, the mouse droid is sent for replacements and they don't arrive because of Grogu using the Force Explode. But there's a scene on the end here, which... This is a modular little platform. We could build a little snowy outside for the AT-RT. We could build the Warlord table. There's a few civilians around it. We don't get names for the... Well, we might get names in the credits, but they're not... No offense to them. They're not important enough. They weren't important enough. They're the local peeps because the Warlords collecting their tribute and that sort of thing. And... yeah, then there's a lift which goes down, or does it go up? And then they end up in the AT-ATs running away and they think they've escaped, and we get one of the coolest scenes Mando's ever had. And that end bit with the AT-AT and Grogu's just fire. Mando, fire, it's on fire, we're going to explode. There's the things about to go boom, and then last minute they fly out. That was awesome. And I think that's where the main poster, or the first poster we got, it was either that or one of the other moments later on with, I don't know, because Grogu's in his pram for that. Yeah, it must have been where they got the main poster from. There we go. Coming out of the cinema, you told your sister it was a solid 8 to 8.5 out of 10. I'm a sucker for a Star Wars movie. I think I've given every Star Wars... No, I haven't. No, I was quite harsh on the sequels. I think The Force Awakens I probably gave a 9 or a 10 coming out the cinema. Because that first time seeing it, you just get the rush. Which is why I usually go see them a few times or wait for them on Disney+. My initial reaction is just, wow. Give me more. I love it. Amazing. Goes down since... I feel that with a lot of movies, when you come out the cinema, when you start to think about it, there's a few things that this movie's left me puzzled on with how they've got it to work. Oh yeah, AT-RT driver, boom. Self-explanatory. What else did I notice though? Oh, the trooper with the dome, I think we've spoken about that. The Int-4 in AT-1. Yeah, that was in the first AT-AT. There were 3 of them. The third one had quite a few troops. That one went down pretty easily because they broke the foot, and then you think it's going to go into the side of the mountain and slide, but it sort of cripples, tries to balance itself, and ends up just pushing itself too far, which there's some thought going into that sort of thing. Yes, Mando's mask with the gas. Last Jedi, was that your lowest rating? 5.7. See, it's still a good movie. 5.7's above 5. That's still a solid movie. And that's the thing with critics. I haven't seen still any of... Oh, I think I saw a few of them like in passing by, but I haven't looked at any critics' reviews. And you've got to take into consideration, what do they class as a good movie? Are they Star Wars fans? Are they watching it because it's a blockbuster? Because Star Wars is. Because a lot of critics will be reviewing it around that 5 mark. Oh, here's another movie. It's sci-fi. All critics don't like sci-fi, so it's already competing with all the other like Marvel movies. And oh, it's popular. I don't like what everyone else likes. It's too popular. But I think Mando, you'll go and enjoy if you watch that. Even when it comes to Disney Plus, watch it again if you've got the subscription. You'll enjoy it, and then if there's another series, it could be a nice rewatch to catch up where Mando is. It did feel like you have the start with... How does it? It starts with Mando's entrance. Wait, is Mando's entrance walking in, flaming the floor and taking out those 2 stormtroopers? That's a nuts entrance. Surely, yeah, because then Grogu's entrance is the flip over. I guess we start with the text about the warlords, and then it trickles on from there. Wow, what an entrance. What an entrance. This is just like the first scene. So perhaps if this was an episode, yeah, you'd have the warlord and AT-AT as episode 1, then going back and visiting the huts as episode 2. Then he's got to find Rota, which is episode 3. First thing with Rota, episode 4. They'd go on a side mission, then have a little look. Perhaps that's the coin bit, but that's a whole episode dedicated to walking around trying to locate the guy. Is episode 5. Back to Rota, episode 6. Break out and try to return, 7. And then episode 8 is like Grogu's adventure up to the finale. They could probably break it into a few more, but it is really... It's structured really well. You can see the next step of the story. It's definitely gone down. Last Jedi down to a 4.5. Mad. I think with the comics, and I've tried to dip my toes into the books and the comics, and the expanded story, just like Clone Wars with original trilogy fans for the prequels. I understand now why. I don't understand why the prequels were... I don't understand why any movies hated, right? We're talking about like 4.5. It's a bit bad. It's a bit bad. Hated is like a 0 out of 10, which is crazy for most movies with that budget. They just can't... They definitely could hit a 0 out of 10. But you know, the shots in The Last Jedi are the best out of... Actually, they might be the best out of all 9 saga movies. Rogue One did have that beautiful shot of Scarif. a few different beautiful shots of Scarif. I don't know if you know the one that I thought of first. You got Jeddah as well. That was a nice shot with the destroyer. I think there's a lot more of those shots in Star Wars now, though. Original trilogy had a few, especially on Yavin. That one's one of the early ones, but yeah, Last Jedi. Last Jedi initially did get like a 90 something, and then they started splitting because public opinion was split, and critics realized, well, hold on, if we love it, we can agitate the people that didn't, and if we hate on it, we can agitate the people that liked it. So like Rotten Tomato critics went from being a consistent 80, high 80, low 90, to then whoop, they chose their sides. And yeah, that's ruined critics for me, to be fair. The sequels, same with Marvel had it. What did Marvel have it with? Endgame. Wasn't Endgame initially all right, and then suddenly there was this split? It just didn't work as well. Last Jedi, for some reason that worked. Some reason, I think also with social media at the time, definitely didn't help. The fact that so many... I mean, I was watching a ton of Star Wars YouTube accounts at that point, and so many of them were like, oh, this is the best thing, you should love this, you need to love this, or the opposite of the coin, you need to hate this is rubbish. And I checked out of that. Actually inspired the channel, so shout out to all those guys. But yeah, the effects on Rise of Skywalker, the 3 movies aren't coherent. I don't think there's enough content to be made to make them as smooth as anything else, and that's a good thing with Mando and Grogu. It's so smooth from series 3 into potentially a series 4, into another movie, into Book of Boba Fett, into a few special episodes in that. Mando's probably gonna steal one. It's probably gonna steal another one. But yeah, I like these shots. I've come to appreciate the actual cinematography of the movie. But Rian Johnson just got done so dirty. The Knives Out movies, I really like the way they're done as well. And Last Jedi as a standalone movie also doesn't work because he's trying to play off things in The Force Awakens. And then if you get rid of The Last Jedi, Force Awakens and Rise still doesn't work because you're missing that middle bit. They did the sequels dirty, but thankfully they've realised not only are the characters playing them being more involved, which helps because they know certain mannerisms they're doing and they can put themselves into the character a bit more, but also Favreau and Filoni. Favreau has been on this project throughout Mando. Filoni is working on Ahsoka Season 2 just because he's now at the top. Producer. Top. Feels pretty at the top. Those are still Disney above, but Filoni's pretty high up. At the top of Star Wars, he's still working on Ahsoka Season 2. And I mean, Kennedy still produced everything, but I don't think Kennedy really... I don't know what Filoni's role is on Ahsoka. I assume he's probably directing because that fits. I don't think Kennedy directed anything. I might be wrong. I might be, but she was more of a producer, which is less hands-on. On critics, it's 91%, but audience is 41%. It's almost in the middle. I think, yeah, 41 tracks. If it was above 50, it would have been surprising because it became a thing to just hate on the sequels. Like I haven't put forward an audience score for any of the movies because I have a platform, I can come talk about it, but also I liked them. They were pretty good. If I had to rank them, it would not be 10 out of 10. It would be a lot closer to 5 out of 10 than 10 out of 10. But a lot closer. See, I'd have to think of it. I'd have to give it a number. Whereas if you don't like it, you're online. You're on, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah, you are. The amount of times I stopped that a long time ago, Facebook, Twitter, because so many people are complaining. It's hard to see what people actually think. Because, well, the big problem isn't people complaining. I don't have a problem with people complaining. That's fair. That's quite healthy. Having that disagreement and being able to talk through it is very healthy. The problem I have is this sucks. This is rubbish. Why? Why? Simple. Why? As long as someone goes, oh, I didn't like we're talking about the connectivity to the other movies, it is a bit bumpy. It's like going from a smooth road to a bumpy road to a smooth road any way you whack the movies round. But it sucks is not a valid argument. It's an annoying argument. Kennedy was quite hands-off, which is why you think that there was that tug-of-war with the sequels. Yeah, if Kennedy would have been more hands-on, perhaps with Rian Johnson's movie, she could have gone, this isn't what Abrams had in mind, so why don't we give you Subayoff? Just grab a random Jedi from Legends, and or maybe Luke with 2 E's. Maybe it can be Luke's clone, and he can work on that trilogy. Honestly, Rian Johnson could have continued it forward. Abrams did 7, 8, 9. Johnson does the New Jedi Order. That would have worked. That would have been not perfect because you've still got that disconnect with the same characters. I think Johnson just needed his own trilogy. I mean, I don't really know what he wanted to work on. He's come out and spoken on it a little bit since. What else? What else did I spot? What else? Oh yeah, I was jotting down notes. The Trooper kind of looked like the heavy First Order Lego figure, but then I was like, no, maybe the Andor Trooper. It's actually the AT-RT torso. It's perfect. The one that we got in the set. It's the perfect piece for that little pilot. We just need, I assume you get a head underneath. What head is it? Don't be an angry clone trooper, please. Please, no angry clones. Anything but an angry clone. Wait, was that Minecraft? Come on. Oh, a warm tan head. Nice. Got it in a trooper before. Yeah, I've got, oh, it might, promotional. No, I probably don't have this. This is the gift for purchase. Wait, this is the Death Star as well. I don't have that. Main Street USA has one. And of course, Minas Tirith. All right, this is a very expensive head, so good cheap way to get them. But I'm pretty sure I've got that head. Maybe I ordered it, or maybe I got it on BAM because Brickhouse doesn't include BAM. What a head if that is on BAM. Or Zeb and the U-Wing. I can't believe I've broken down that U-Wing. I want to build a U-Wing at some point. Let's get that built. We might have to do a few different waves for Mando. But I'm all right with that. Like I said, Mando Mondays go into the end of the year. 9th Jedi, I don't know how much I'll be able to build. I built, what was the Visions build? It wasn't the 9th Jedi, it was the X-Wing suit. That was good. But we'll see with 9th Jedi what there is to build from it, because Visions is harder to do. We get a nice ship. That would be really good to build. A Delphi base, few notes, Rebel Lookout. We've just taken down the tree. I need to keep the Rebel Lookout. I'll probably replace the bar with a few 1x1 bricks to get it sturdy, or get some of the bigger 1x1 bricks, or Technic. I could use Technic. I think Technic would wobble more than bricks, because bricks have the stud connection, whereas Technic pins aren't, they're still not solid. Even the ones with friction ridges that don't turn, they've got that bit of wiggle once you start stacking them up. So yeah, that might not, Technic might not work. Maybe we can fix up a bar another way. Oh, here's one of the characters that I think I saw. And now the good thing is I saw Mando this morning, so it's been like 12 hours since I saw Mando. And now that I'm thinking, I think this was a trick with the light. Towards the end on a Delphi base, we see a Twi'lek with a tan jumpsuit and blue Leku. Could be anyone. You know, that sounds like a fun custom. But earlier on, right at the start of the movie, I thought we saw a green Twi'lek. I thought we saw a green Twi'lek with a brown jacket and tan trousers. And I was like, oh, it's orange trousers off being Hera. Seeing the blue Twi'lek, I do think I just mistook the blue Twi'lek. It might have been in a bit of shade or something, walking past, and that shadows darken the blue to green and darken the tan top half to a dark tan, which I would definitely see as brown. It was a flicker on the screen. But yeah, I got really excited that there was the possibility of Hera popping up. Hera, the green Twi'lek with a brown jacket. Hera Syndulla just walked past Zeb as well. I feel like if it was meant to be Hera, there'd have at least been a nod or something, or a call on the Tannoy like in Rogue One. I'm not sure about Hera, but yeah, it could have been the blue one. In a way, it was quite selfish of Johnson by flipping the script. I don't think there was a script for The Last Jedi. I do agree. It is quite selfish to ignore what's come before. But I think Johnson did that out of spite of not being able to do his own trilogy, of being put, you know, he's finishing someone else's work. That sucks. That does suck. I think Johnson did that on purpose and went with the darkest version he could have, because it didn't fit with Star Wars. I think having, even the way Kenobi was in Empire, with how grumpy he gets, and just generally how he is, he's not that bad. There's still that hope on the inside, which is nuts. Managed to finish building your go-kart. Awesome. I need to get some Mando go-karts. I thought about it, and I was like, if I do Mando go-karts, then I'm going to want to do original trilogy go-karts, and I'll probably make some sequel trilogy go-karts. Then I'll have to do Mando verse go-karts, Ahsoka, Boba. Where do I draw the line for go-karts? So until I build a go-kart track, I've put pause on that. I'm thinking of roller coasters next. I'm trying to get some roller coaster parts in a color that works for Star Wars. I might be able to 3D print some black roller coaster track and then have a little Mando roller coaster. Because if you've got the actual cars to sit on top, I don't know what colors they've been in. They should work on 3D printed track. Don't know about the other way around though. Maybe it would. Oh, R5D4. Did you notice R5D4 going across with the BDX droids? They tried to take my attention away. R5D4 in season 3 got dropped off at Delphi base. They're building a nice little arsenal of crew here. I think we're going to see a Delphi base a lot in future Mandoverse. What if a Delphi base is the one to face up against Thrawn? Okay, Ahsoka Season 2, that sets where Ahsoka is and what's happening there. I still think Ahsoka Season 2 could round itself off with them finding a way back. Or, they're either going to keep Ahsoka there permanently, or they're going to come back like after a season. It'll be like Grogu. Grogu disappears, then comes back, but they can do books and comics forever. And then Boba Season 2, because that sets Boba up, maybe expanding off Tatooine or doing some, maybe joining Mando for a little bit. I think they could get along as long as Bo ain't there. And then, or maybe Mando returns. Maybe we get a Mando season as well. And then, next movie, Thrawn. Oh, they'd have to play some of the books. Thrawn. They could kind of tie last. Yeah, it could just be Thrawn. Coming to cinemas 2029. That I'd love to see Thrawn on the big screen, and it would work because you've got the New Republic with the Ahsoka crew, the Ghost could come back in, and Zeb could pair up with them for a bit. That would be beautiful to see. You've got Mando. Mando might hire some arms, might bring in Boba, might bring in Bo, and get the Mandos behind, because Mando could reunite the Mandalorians. I know that's kind of what Bo's trying to do, but you know, Boba rode the Rancor. What if Boba rides the Mythosaur? It'd be like the dinosaur from the Empire Strikes Back special. That would be awesome. And then we've got like the whole Mandoverse coming together. This is just the Iron Man right now. This is the Iron Man. If we're comparing Star Wars movies to the Marvel Universe, I just got hit with an ad. I don't know if the ads are synced up on here, But there we go. If we're comparing Marvel movies to Star Wars, I realize it's delayed. I'm watching myself talk about the ad now. This is the Iron Man. And what I'm wanting is the Avengers. Is that Thrawn? Is that coming together of all these shows to fight a bigger threat, get some more New Republic coverage? Because Mando's a New Republic show. Ahsoka kind of has the New Republic at the start. Boba's going to run into the New Republic at some point. They're doing really well touching on sequels without making it a sequel show. We're not cutting to a baby Finn with the First Order starting off, getting his brain wiped. We're not seeing Poe's parents with the Force tree and interacting with Luke. That's happening parallel. We've got comics and books for that. We're just seeing everything else happening. And I think Thrawn would work. Perhaps it's post-sequels, perhaps the New Republic. Oh, that would be interesting. Now that we've got so many interesting characters with the Anzellans, with Rotta, with R5, and the rest of the gang at Adelphi, maybe we get to see The Force Awakens through another scope. That would be too far off, though. We still don't know the time jump from Ahsoka into Peridia and back out. I feel like Thrawn can happen before the First Order, which is why the New Republic don't respond, which is why they don't react, which is why they don't weaponize, everything they can, because they've just bled out from Thrawn and they're just recovering. Maybe this is 5-10 years after Thrawn. We still don't know what happens to Thrawn. Maybe he's frozen until afterwards, and then he's cloned or unfroze. Bit funny, we only have 4.5 Avengers movies. Yeah, we've got Avengers, Civil War, and then the 2-part. We've got. Wait, no. Age of Ultron. Avengers, Age of Ultron, Civil War, and then the 2-part Infinity War Endgame. And now we've got Doomsday. Doomsday isn't a part 1, is it? I weren't a fan of that because of how much could have been cut out into little bits. I mean, it worked for Avengers. It's got a crazy 5-hour runtime if you pair them both up. Bit like Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings has such a journey. Infinity War to Endgame. They didn't have to be part 1, part 2. They could have just been, especially with how Endgame starts. I think that stands as its own movie. I think it was Infinity War. Wait, was it? I'm going to have to get up the Avengers timeline. Avengers movies. So we've got Avengers, Ultron, Infinity War, Endgame, Doomsday. Is Secret Wars confirmed for next year? Or is that just a placeholder? Because that'd be crazy going 7 years without a movie. I mean, we got 3 years, 3 years. These two were close. They were back to back. Doomsday could spiral into Secret Wars the same way Infinity War did to Endgame. That would work. I can see a few ways of them doing that for Secret Wars, depending on what Secret Wars is going to be. Doomsday is this Christmas. That's 6-7 months away. Oh, just a placeholder at the minute, yeah. Captain America Civil War, you'd consider it as a half Avengers movie. Oh, wait, they haven't included Civil War. Yeah. Because it's Captain America holds the story. But then again, Age of Ultron. That's not Iron Man Age of Ultron. That's Avengers Age of Ultron, because it brought the Avengers together. Oh, Civil War split the Avengers. But it still brought them together. They were together in the airport where they start trying to kill each other. Yeah, I see it's a half movie. It's an Avengers movie by spirit, if not by name. I cannot wait for Doomsday. There are so many good movies coming out this year. Oh, it is nuts. Oh, Adelphi Base had a Star Wars pool table. Got to remember that for the mark. That was fun. Seeing regular things. Star Wars is, and it always has been, about taking something, flipping it on its side, and making it something else. And oh, you thought this was a brick wall? Well, now it's a factory conveyor belt of chocolate bars being made in a factory. That's a really good idea. Both ways, it works as a chocolate bar. Star Wars has always been about taking something, slapping something on it, and then, you know, whacking it in the Star Wars universe. The pool table had something about it. I couldn't really tell what. Perhaps it didn't have any... Perhaps it was hologram pool. Perhaps it was a hologram pool game. That would have been amazing. And then they've like layered a pool game over the table. Yeah, that would have been really cool to have done. We didn't get a good look. We didn't get a close-up. I had a few notes about Ward. I thought Ward, speaking of the sequel trilogy, any good workplace has to have a billiards table. Yeah, that's true. Speaking of the sequel trilogy, I thought Ward reminded me a lot of, and I quote, this is the first line, "The Force Awakens Leia minus the fun." The Force Awakens Leia minus the fun. Not to say Ward can't be fun. There were a few moments that were quite playful, but she was very serious. Leia cracked a few more jokes and was a bit more like, haha, cheeky. Leia, it's not the fun, it's the cheekiness. The Force Awakens Leia minus the cheekiness. And she did have that hopeful quality. I think that might be what I saw. It was a hopeful quality. And they're different characters, for sure. They're so different. There's that similarity. You can see that Leia perhaps inspired Ward, which it was at that point. It was just before, I think, the Razor Crest gets unveiled. And I realized Ward isn't the villain. Ward couldn't have been the villain. It would have been so out of character unless she was playing Mando as well as she was playing the audience. There's no way she could have been the villain. I've got crisp crumbs all through this. Actually, speaking of... I didn't get through the crisps. Almost. Look at the massive bag of tortilla chips. Yeah, it's got about a quarter filled. So I'll be saving that for the next cinema trip. That's, if you saw any crumbs on this, that's what they're for. Munching those whilst trying to jot this down. I will be doing this for more movies because I really wish I did this for every other movie I've been to see this year, because you get to after the movie and you remember the good parts, then you're like, hold on, I want to build like every time I go to the cinema I usually build something small. I might start doing that on the channel. It's a good way to talk about other movies in relation to Star Wars, because if we're talking about how good a Star Wars movie is, how do you know unless you've seen some of the other movies coming out? And Star Wars still holds up. It always is going to hold up. It's in a good place, but yeah, it's very hard to write down in the dark. There were a few moments that it flashed up, and I thought I was writing in black pen as well. This is red ink. This isn't black pen. Some of it's pink. The black I've gone over. Some of it's brown as well. It's a different color every time I click the pen. At least it all looks somewhat consistent. In a dark room it does. In a dark room it all looks the same. Your sister and you finished a large popcorn and a large drink. I could have probably done that. The thing is as well, we had Burger King after. Didn't get the cups we were looking for. They're running low stock, so still on the hunt for the last two of the collection. But if it weren't for Burger King, I think I could have probably finished the bag. I could have done it. Maybe I'll be munching over the weekend whilst I edit all the videos for the week. You did bring out an apple during the ads. That's a good idea. Definitely. Mando's got this dramatic moment, and in the back row, crunch. Be amusing, but it was nice. It was nice given it was day one for Mando in the UK, and there were quite a few people piling through. A lot of I've seen a lot actually that parents have been seeing Mando to screen it for their kids, which I've never thought about doing, and I love that idea. Screening the movie, they usually put out movies with a test audience and they screen it to see if it works, but I've never thought about screening a movie like that, going to see it and then like, oh yeah, my kids are gonna love. I don't have kids, don't get too excited, chat, but you know, their kids are gonna love it. And except for this one, this is my child now, this Mantelian Savrip. But I don't think the Savrip's going to enjoy it, especially not that scene with Not, oh, not Grotta, Rotta. I mixed Grogu and Rotta into Grotta. Santa's Grotta, that's cursed. Santa costume and Grogu's ears on Rotta. Okay, let's get that out. Oh, now Hutta. I was saying something on stream the other day, and now Hutta pops up in it, and that's the name. That's the name of the Hutt world. We do see it. It kind of blows up. I don't think we'll be seeing it again in Star Wars. I actually don't think, unless it pops up in Tales, the Tales anthology series, Tales of the Bounty Hunters. Unless it's in that, I don't think we'll be seeing it at all. Oh, apple pancakes would have been nice. Suppose you can't waltz into a cinema with pancakes. Though it's surprising what you can waltz into a cinema with, because unless it's like a bunch of kids that are trying to smuggle like half of McDonald's in their bag, they don't really stop. They might do a little bag check if you've got a big enough bag, maybe. But yeah, they don't really stop you. You can bring your own snacks to the cinema, which is nice. It's stopping people just watching it at home. Because a lot of movies now I'm seeing after a month, especially the ones we're seeing that aren't the major blockbusters. After a month, they're on digital. I mean, Mario, after like 45-ish days, is now digital. And if you're going with a family, I think that's what's nice about parents screening it. So they go to the cinema, they pay a fee. I think most cinemas are between £7 and £10 for a regular screening. If you want to go all out, it's like 20 quid. But the digital purchases are 20 to 25 quid. They're starting to get a bit more expensive. As in, they've gone up from 10 to 15 to 20 to 25 over the last like 15 years. And there's a big gap that I weren't looking at them for. And yeah, for the price of the cinema, it's worth to go see it in the cinema. If it's good, wait a month, buy it digital. Saves waiting the 90 days for Disney Plus. So May, June, July, August. I think by September we should have a date for Mando on Disney Plus if it's not already out. That would be nice. And I will be watching it again in the cinema next month. Oh, I can't do it in July as well, but I could do it before. Do you think I could take, how much to book out a cinema? How much to rent a cinema? There's got to be some places that do it in the UK. Okay, £120. You know what? Ouch. £120 that's a lot lower. I'm seeing maximum of 1,500. Which is for probably a main screen. I suppose it'd have to be as much as they have. But, yeah. Major chains rent out cinemas for private gaming sessions. Okay. I'm not going to be streaming. I could stream. Oh, but I couldn't with the... How would that work? If I rented out a cinema and I built... We're talking about the Hutt Sentry Droid set, right? And I built that in the cinema whilst the movie was playing. I wouldn't be able to stream that because of the movie. I would like the sound would definitely leak through. There's no chance, and I can't mute it unless I learn sign language. Unless I learn sign language. Can't cut it out. It's live. No. Unless I learn sign language, that could be a sign language awareness stream. If anyone wants to sponsor me to learn sign language, I will dedicate a month to it, and then rent out a cinema and build the Lego set. That would be a lot of fun. That's very awkward, but that would be fun. Yeah, a lot of the cinemas book it out. Not 3D, I'm seeing. 50 to 500. Oh, wait. Some cinemas have a minimum seating. From 50. Oh, wait, it's 50 for a room. So it's a small room. That's like the 121. Still a big room. 50 people. That's... 5 rows of 10. Actually, it's not as big as I thought. I thought it'd be like double that size. There's one that does 33 guests. It's a little smaller. 120. I'll keep that in mind if I ever want to rent out a cinema, I guess. Bit funny that Rotta's about 25 years older than Grogu. Oh. Yeah, I never thought of Rotta's age because Grogu's like 50. But Rotta, they both live for ages, so they can go... Well, this is live. Thought this was an AI generated reaction, but AI has got good, but not that good. Not that good yet. It was the slip up. That's what convinced you it weren't AI. What else have we got? Oh yeah, this is where I was deciding what the movie was about. It started off as, okay, this is like Mando season 4, because season 3 we dealt with Gideon. It makes sense that he moves on to another warlord. I'll bring up the list in a sec. And then it was the Razor Crest, very early on, like the first scene we see at Delphi base, which is after the intro, which is a nuts intro. Still can't get over that. We see the Razor Crest, and it's like, oh, this is an advance on your next job. Well, that's what the movie's about. Mando wants that Razor Crest. But then we just go down this rabbit hole of now he never really gets the Razor Crest until the end on a technicality. I don't think they would have taken it back per se, but about halfway through he gets it when he brings them the Warlord. But then he has the trouble with the Hutts, and then it's about staying alive. Then it's really about Mando and Grogu. It really is. Ra was about 50 during the Clone Wars. What is it with long-living species being 50? If we get an origin story for Chewie a Star Wars story, and he's 50, and he looks like a Wookiee cub. I think Gungi was a bit more than 50 though in Clone Wars. At least we've got that. The turrets! The turrets on Now Hutta. I don't know if we have a good shot. Kind of. So there are turrets on there now. Here we go. These turrets. These turrets remind me so much of a Ben 10 alien. And I couldn't pinpoint the specific Ben 10 alien. It's one of... I don't know if it's one of the original. I feel like it is, but it might be like the first 20 of them. I don't know if it's the first 10, but it is like the original designs. Is it any? No, it's none of... Oh, this is not the original Ben 10s anyway. Original aliens. Yes, it's the flying one. But what's the flying one called? Stinkfly. Oh, I'm so happy I remembered that. Stinkfly. Is this not just the turrets? This would fit in on Now Hutta, but it's the double pronged and the way they were moving and the rounded head. It reminded me of Stinkfly, and I couldn't get that out of my head. So next time you watch Mando, when it comes to whenever you watch Mando next, picture Stinkfly, and there you go. Just ruin the turrets for you. It's like, it might have been because the turrets looked like they were crossing in at some point. I assume it's not a practical turret. It might be, but I'm assuming not. It was 100% Stinkfly. Chewbacca is about 200 years old. So, yeah, he would cut... Chewbacca is quite adulty. Like, if we're saying Chewie's about 40 when he's 200, then he'd be about 10 when he's 50. So I feel like he's a bit more progressed. It doesn't work that way. There's a big, like, shoot up and then you just stay... Oh, you mature early on. Well, I don't know, because Rotta was 50, Grogu was 50. Maybe Chewie is a baby at 50. Maybe he is. Can't unsee that. You are welcome. Yes, that's what the turrets look like to me. And then, there are a few little decorations. So many aliens. I'm sure they're all going to be sold. The cage ones are definitely going to be sold at Galaxy's Edge. But there was a Nexu in Coin's compound. And there were two other creatures. I recognized one of them and I didn't get a good look. The one next to the Nexu, the longer one, I feel like I recognize... No. It was the long one on the left wall. It looked like the alien. But I recognize that because I've said that with a Star Wars creature. And I think it's an animated one. I think it's from Clone Wars. Or... I don't think we saw it in Bad Batch. There's something in Star Wars that looks like the alien from the Alien franchise. And that was on the wall. Oh, the Anzelon stall. Did anyone see what was being served on the Anzelon stall? So let's get into the role. You're Mando. I am not the Anzelian. The The Ardenian stall. That's the one. I'm the Ardenian. Right here, I'm pretty certain was a mudhorn egg. Cracked open, gooey yellow in the middle, hairy outside. Where Mando puts down the credits, we get like 3 looks at it in the entire scene. Where Mando puts down the credits, there is a mudhorn egg to the other side, and then we've got the like waffle maker that's making the little sandwich for Grogu. Which Grogu probably did eat the whole thing. I mean, Grogu ate a lot. That was just that coin wasn't for information, it was to cover the tab. A few funny lines like that. When Mando's in the Razor Crest and he tells Grogu, always wear your seatbelts. That's a very what was it? Panic at the Disco Taylor Swift song. Me, I think it's called. And there's that line, come on kids, spelling is fun, or something like that. It's a very on the nose, but at the same point, always wear your seatbelt is a great piece of advice that still some people don't follow, which is nuts. Never not wearing a seatbelt. I'm going to go with when. I've never not worn a seatbelt before. And I'm still here to tell the tale. Proof is in the pudding. It helps. Do we have... Oh, let's get to the helmet. Yeah, I'm skimming through a few things here, like the safety panel in the Razor Crest. The fact that Mando's Razor Crest doesn't have any safety things kind of makes sense. And that's why he didn't want the New Republic looking at it. They've got him a stock Razor Crest that meets all the galactic rules. And he's like, yeah, I'll rip out the safety panel. He'll probably remove the tracker that they no doubt installed. It doesn't run anything that they need to be space legal. It was funny that sort of all things was the prized possession. Yes. Depends on the species. Oh, if you're not mistaken, met his masters when he... Oh, Gunji met his masters when he was 100. Oh, well, maybe a 50-year-old Chewbacca would be a baby. Maybe it's something about being 50 in Star Wars. If you live past 100... you're a baby at 50, which, yeah, with their lifespan, like I said, it is quite an uphill. Maybe they're a baby for longer, and then it's 50, they hit 75, and they mature, and then they spend the rest of their life pretty mature. Yoda, oh, when Yoda met his masters, he was 100. So twice the age of Grogu. And Anakin was too old? Bit of a different species there, but still. Salt being a prized possession and Mando having the line, it's common where I come from, which is such a... Like, there are, even in the world today, I mean, most... I think one of the big things was jewels, and like golds, diamonds was sort of worth more across the world, no matter where you went. But now, with synthetic materials, which are being made cheaper, which are better for the planet as well, better for the environment, a lot of us young'uns are going for the synthetic materials because it's just not worth paying out for something that looks the same, like that doesn't function. Whereas I suppose salt does have a function. It's kind of a drug. Salt has very like, it's not really addictive, but if you like salt, you like salt. And I do love a lot of salt. I am borderline bad with salt, but yeah, I wouldn't say I'm actually bad with salt. I just really like the taste of, you're going to add a little bit of salt on everything. Pasta, chips, you know, everything you make. And salt of all things. And then he has his cabinet of salt and he's got like 4 little rocks. What does he give everyone? A little pinch of salt on their way out. Because for Mando's troubles, to try and get Mando off his back, he gives him like a whole rock that Mando then drops in... oh, are they on the wiki yet? What's the guy? Oh, Hog's Breath. They are on the wiki. Awesome. Hog's Breath's drink. And he's like, what? Because that's just so valuable to him. And he's just dropped it in his drink and salt is going to dilute into the drink. That was hilarious. Mando's pressurized helmet. All right. This is one of the things that is a real head scratcher because we've had issues through the series with pressurization. Mandalorian helmet. Mandalorian, I suppose Mandalorian helmets probably don't have a Wikipedia page, but if they did, we'll find it. Mandalorian armor, that'll work. Mandalorian. So Mando has a scene where we all probably know, unless you haven't watched it and are just interested in the spoilers. Maybe you're not interested in the movie. Maybe you're just watching this stream through to see what you're missing out on. In which case, I'd still recommend watching it when it comes out. But Mando has a little... we need to boil the drink for the salt. Yeah, I don't think they know how to get the salt back. It's once it's gone, they've probably just thrown the drink away. Imagine, they just toss it to the side. Mando has a scene where he's being gassed. And his helmet isn't pressurized. It's easier to write down the word than to say it. His helmet isn't pressurized. And there was a big debate with the Mandalorian show about helmet pressurization. I don't think we see anything specific for the helmet. There we go. Angled visor. I suppose we can skip through like this. Night helmet with a T-shaped visor. And it got me thinking about, what does the Mandalorian need to pressurize his helmet? Because surely he needs some supply of oxygen. Is it transferred from outside? Maybe it's in his jetpack, because the jetpack would probably need oxygen to burn to be able to lift off. So connecting the jetpack, you've then connected the helmet, and you'd have to refill it. Mando not expecting an attack like that. Like if he pressurizes his helmet, he's just got the air inside the helmet. So knowing how deep he is into it, he probably knows he can't get out, opens the door, lets hell loose. Who knows what goes on. He also wasn't expecting it. Perhaps he thought, there are a million excuses. Perhaps he was thinking of Grogu and he was like, oh, the kid. Oh, wait, me. And then that's it. He's out cold and the rest is history or future. Depending on when you're watching it. But yeah, so his helmet, Mando's helmet, can pressurize. Oh, that was the thing, when he went underwater. So when he bumps into Bo-Katan and that, he falls in the water. Grogu goes in the water. When does he does go in the water somehow. Maybe it wasn't then. There was something with Mando's helmet or one of the others not being pressurized. But then we see on Moff Gideon's light cruiser, the Mandos come in from space, meaning the helmets are probably pressurized. They've also opened the door so many times. Mando flew through half the galaxy with his ship not pressurized, but his helmet had to be. So Mando, as far as I'm aware, can pressurize his helmet. Did I just get rid of helmet? But he didn't in that moment. Here we go. Helmets often had macro binoculars, tactical heads-up display, a comlink, antenna, rangefinder. Also wore magnetized boots. A hollow imager. I feel like more Mandos should have that. Like the smart glasses. Mando Crusaders, yes. Suppose we can skip through that. It's not too relevant. Also, the never removing the helmet. It kind of makes sense that they would be pressurized, because otherwise, after a while, you might be lightheaded. Just breathing into a helmet, filling it with carbon dioxide. I think typically, I'm not a chemist, so I think carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen. Is carbon, and I wouldn't Google everything, but as we're not doing the science on this, Google is carbon. Google is a valid tool. Carbon dioxide is heavier and denser than regular air, according to, like, Wikipedia is a cheat reference, because if you're referencing Wikipedia, you're just taking the shortcut to reference like all of this. All of this is where Wikipedia gets its info from. That is a cheat. Go through Google, reference them one by one. Oh, Facebook. Wow. Yeah, that's not the best place to do. And the collection of physics experiments. Maybe we shouldn't be using this. Let's use Reddit instead. Yeah, CO2 is heavier than air. So maybe that solves the problem with the breathing in the helmet, because then the carbon dioxide will go out the helmet and little air sneak back in. But Mando then, right, there's another scene where Mando's fighting the dragon snake and he has to go underwater, and without the helmet, he's going under. He's adrenaline's pumping, he needs the air. He can stay underwater for a couple seconds, has to come back up and hide in another bit. And then he goes under and then he's back up. It's very quick. And then he gets the helmet, he goes under and does this little twirl towards the vent and then goes through with the water, like drops under the water and staggers a little bit. I think he gets up after all that. So that scenario, I feel like he puts the helmet on, pressurizes, and then, yeah, he must pressurize, because when he comes back to, you hear a of the breathing, of Mando's breathing, which you wouldn't hear. They could have done it for effect, but you wouldn't have heard that if it wasn't pressurized. Let's see if there is any anything else. Din Djarin was disturbed. They removed the, oh yeah. Din removed, yeah. So they're pretty much all pressurized in this scene. Having removed his helmet, her helmet, their helmet, our helmet, your helmet. Okay. This is what we need behind the scenes. Thank you, Dave, Rick, and John. Oh, also, wait, before we get onto this, no one read ahead. There's a lot of, I think Rick was included. See, I'm rubbish with names and faces and pairing them together. Absolutely rubbish. But there were a lot of directors and people that had been involved in Mando previously that had got cameos in a Delphi squad, and they're kind of just part of the team now. They're now X-Wing pilots. They have to sit there, say a few lines in their cockpit. You don't need to... I'm not saying they're bad actors. They're not. They're great. But they're amazing. They're awesome. I wouldn't mind a little cameo in Mando Season 4 myself. But little Lego one. It'd have to be like a Lego figure that Grogu picks up. But yeah, they get their roles as the pilots. I think most of them come back. Don't know if it was all of them. I feel like they didn't need everyone, but they did need a few. There are a few other pilots that we've seen in the series. And yeah, they showed up, which is nice. So during production of The Mandalorian Season 3, the team wanted an audio sound that signaled to the audience that Mandalorians could pressurize their helmets, thereby keeping them safe for treks into possibly toxic areas. Oh yeah, like Mandalore as well. Completely forgot about Mandalore. Giving us very specific note to show as such. Collins used the iconic squeak of Vader's helmet sailing over his head in Chapter 17 for when Ragnar put on his helmet. We don't hear that sound too clearly in the movie. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. We don't see a lot. I noticed there were a few scenes that were stretched out a tiny bit to get them to last a bit longer. There were also scenes that they cut down and things were happening a lot quicker than they would progress. So there is a sound. I'm going to have to rewatch Chapter 17 before I go see Mando again and see if I can spot that sound in the movie. But there is a specific sound for it. I think a lot of the time it's just going to go under the radar. We've probably had a few different scenes, especially in like books, comics, they couldn't really show it. So before Chapter 17, who knows? Now we've got the sound. It would be a shame if they forgot to include that. We need a recut movie just with that sound. That's it. That's the only edition. I wonder if we'll get a special edition, because I don't think we got a special edition of the sequels, but Star Wars is always updating. Even the prequels go through minor changes. Let's have a look. Is there a special edition of Star Wars sequels? It's Googled a lot more than I thought, apparently. No special editions. Yeah, because they were made with modern filmmaking technology. So were the originals. The original trilogy was made with pretty modern technology. So were the prequels. Still go through some changes. And, oh, okay. Fair enough. Maybe in like 10, 20 years' time that'll change, though. They'll be able to add or change different things. Oh, it's pressurized. Hello there. Welcome. There is spoilers for the Mandalorian and Grogu, so if you haven't seen it, then maybe come back after you have. Reach 54k subs. Awesome work. Congratulations. That is great to hear. To do with Mando pressurized helmets, which isn't actually too much spoilers. He may pressurize his helmet or not. I think it's one of those things that they're not going to include. They're going to try to include the pressurized noise every time, but also it's not that kind of movie. Oh no, from a certain point of view, it's kicking in. I've said that way too much recently. If the helmet needs to be pressurized, it's pressurized because it works. For the story, Mando needed his helmet not to be pressurized in specific moments, and it wasn't pressurized. So I think it just comes down to that. It's for the story. All right, back to spoiler territory now. So I'll give you a few seconds to click off. We already know that Rotter is in the movie. Speaking of, there was a ratio change which happened throughout the Rotter scene. We went from a widescreen to then more of an IMAX camera to then back to a widescreen. And I think it was just so Rotter fit in the frame. It'd be interesting to see what the Disney Plus... I mean, Disney Plus changes the ratio. If they release it on Blu-ray Mando, which they should do, there's a big disc, there's a big physical Star Wars audience that collects DVDs, Blu-rays. I think DVDs are outdated now. I hate to say it. I grew up with DVDs, but yeah, I think it's Blu-rays now. It'd be nice to see some Blu-rays of Mando. We saw Navarro, Embo, Blurg, Anzellans, the Droid Runner, the N1. Who spot the N1 next to Mando's hut on Navarro? It was nice to see Mando going back, especially with Karga, Apollo. Why can't I remember his name? The actor passed, so we're not going to see him at any point. But it's nice to know there's still that sort of connection. They didn't just kill off the character. Too many movies and franchises do that, where the actor dies and they kill off the character. Star Wars, Marvel tend to recast. And I don't think this is a role that needs to be recast. I think they can just let the character live out their life. Don't really need to be on screen anymore because the imps are gone off the planet, which is why he came back to Mando. They can have some off-screen stories. Give them a little adventure book or like a comic or a little story. And yeah, that'll do the character well. And then maybe acknowledge it at some point in the future. But you also don't have to with a fantasy series. It is quite nice when characters just live out their lives off screen. Embo's Enterprise. We saw Embo's ship, which made its debut after being cut from the Clone Wars. I remember the ship, but it was a... what was it called? Embo ship. Common misconception, actually. I'll pull it up. This isn't Embo's ship. Embo came with a Lego set. And I know Lego fans are referring to this as Embo's ship. This is Sugi's ship. I think Sugi had a sibling. It's the Zabrak. The Zabrak bounty. The Zabrak. They were Zabraks. But aren't Zabraks the typically the Mao versions of Dathomirians? And then Dathomirians were the ladies. A female Zabrak bounty hunter. No. Wait. So we've spoken about this for Mandalorians, how warriors aren't men and the night owls, turns out, aren't ladies. They are mixed. There is no which makes sense. You know, Star Wars deals with enough problems with the Imperials. Sexism is not one of them, thankfully. Racism for the Empire, because they preferred humanoids. Thrawn's books go into that really well, but not sexism. Thankfully, that just didn't exist from any certain point of view. And then, yeah, Sugi's ship. But Sugi was a female Zabrak bounty hunter, and Sugi did have, I don't know if it was a sibling, a partner, a friend, some sort of family member. There's Embo. The Frank... there was another one. There was another one with Sugi. I don't think the other one did too well, though. I don't think the other one lasted too long. But there was another. There was another. Sugi's Mercenaries. Oh, no, that's just Mercenary. So this is Sugi's ship. Pretty good one. Lego have made. This is Embo's, which got its debut in the Mandalorian Grogu. It was going to be in Clone Wars. I think Embo got cut from the arc. But concept art, yes, it's on Star Wars. It's on Star Wars. It got made before. Is it still up? This is like 15 plus years old. It is. The concept, oh, it's mainly the cockpit. No, we got to look at the ship. We got to look at the outside of the ship. So maybe it's not all up. That's the little cockpit that Embo then will drop down to into the main body of the ship. It looks really good. It does look like the SS Enterprise from Star Trek. It looks so much like it. And we've seen it, I guess, in comics since. What's this image from? Where's it shown up? Give me the appearances. In hyperspace stories, Embo with a Bad Batch. Wait. Wasn't Embo in the Bad Batch novel as well? Dark Disciple, it was first mentioned because it was cut from Clone Wars, and now the Mando and Grogu. So that would be a good build. That would be such a fun build to build all that detail on a circle, because that ain't gonna be easy. Yeah, the SS Enterprise, the SS or the USS, and the SS Enterprise, or the USS, yeah, the Starship Enterprise, the United Earth Starship Enterprise, not to be confused with the US Starship Enterprise, is Embo's ship, basically. And for Embo's introduction, the ship goes over top, and there's a beam that goes down. It looks like a UFO. They've got the beam that comes down. That's... oh, she does. Sugi does have a niece. Maybe that's who I'm thinking of. It's not a sibling, it's a niece. But I feel like they were bounty hunters together, which is fitting for Star Wars. A bounty hunter to be bounty hunter with their niece. That works. And then what else have we got? Oh, yes. I made a few notes of what I want to do to Endor. There's a few little things on here. I've got down Armani. That was mentioned at some point. And I don't remember what that was in correlation to. So I'm going to be listening out for that on my second watch through. There's also... so that's the ship. We've seen that. That's some sort of skyhopper that we saw in the Clone Wars. I want to build that out of Lego. That's actually one of the first ships I want to build out of Lego. So I might get that done in the week. But there's also this ship. I wrote over it, which sucks, because the drawing was pretty cool. But it kind of looked like a Y-wing if you meshed the engines with the front of the ship. It had two barrels either side, and then something in the middle with two engines. I couldn't identify the ship. I don't think I've seen it before. It feels like one of those Legends Imperial vessels, but yeah, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for it. At first, I thought it was a vulture droid. It comes from Janu Coin's little lair. When they kidnap him, there's 3 of them that get sent up. It looked almost vulture droid-ish, but then it didn't pop out. It just had the 2 round engines. It looked like some TIE variant as well. I don't know if there's a list of TIE variants on the internet. Oh, look at this image. Hold on. This might be... oh, and this one. Let's see if it looked like any of these. Oh, we can go in. See, it had like this sort of bizarro look to it, but it didn't have the wings. It didn't have the wings. There are so many good ones here. Wow, I'm going to need to find what I searched to get these up. It just had a thick body with 2 engines off to the side, which I'm just not seeing here. Almost like the Ultra Scout without any of the wings. Can we go even further down? No, this is the bottom. Oh, look at the TIE Walker. That would be so cool. Oh, wrong camera. Let's make that one big. The Thai Lambda. Fancy. Yeah, maybe it was a new variant of Thai. I'm not seeing it here. But it was just a wide body with then 2 engines out to the side. And that doesn't exist. Legends Thai variants gets you all of these images. But it doesn't look like anything we've had before. So what if I put Star Wars, so that we know, wide Imperial cockpit with twin engines. Not the twin ion engine. Oh, it's just come up with the TIE Fighter and the Falcon. I don't even know why the Falcon's here. Yeah, I'm going to keep looking for it. I don't know what the ship is whatsoever. It's an odd one. But I'd love to build the guillotine. The guillotine? The guillotine. The guillotine just rolls off the tongue. So much better. But this movie was amazing. That cannot be understated. I think that's most of my notes done on it. So let's decide what we'll be building. We've got a load of sets. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, one of them I already had written down before the stream. One, the very first one. And that's to do, yeah, that will come a lot later on. But 19 ideas in this stream. We'll round it up to 20. I think tomorrow we're going to be building the sail barge. So that will be a lot of fun. I hear rumors that Jubba might be the first bag of the box. So I'd love that. And I think we're on bag 18. And then we've got Monday. I think I'll build the droid ship. I think we're building the droid ship Monday. That will be all for today though. Wow, that movie. I could sit here and talk about this forever. I cannot wait to see it again. I will be watching the hell out of this when it comes to Disney Plus. I know that for sure. I'm building even more. So next week we'll have a few builds. I'll build the droid ship Monday. The thing is, I don't want to whack the droid ship in the thumbnail. I'll sort that out. I'll have to building that ship from the Mandalorian and Grogu. Perfect. Thanks, chat. You inspired that one. And then we'll try and rework some of the sets. Maybe start off with a Razor Crest, do a little battle pack, do something the Anzelin Starship. I've got a few things to do with. And that should keep us going. Mando Mondays, June, July. Okay, actually, we've got 20 ideas. We can keep going through August, take a look at the new sets, and hopefully August, September time, we'll get that new AT-AT because I really want to build that. I don't know if I'll be picking it up, but I know I'll be building that day one, unless it's August. If it's August, I'll probably build the Sentry Droid day one and try to pick it up so we can build the other Sentry Droid with the parts. But I'll be building it day 2 if it's August. Actually, day 2 sounds pretty good. That is all we've got all the time we've got for today though. Thank you all so much for hanging out and talking about Mando. Over the next couple of streams, I'm going to try to keep spoilers a minimum except for Mando streams. So Mando Mondays, they're going to have spoilers. They're Mando Mondays. I'll put that in the title and thumbnail. And next week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I think we keep up with spoilers because we can talk about what we're thinking. With The Last Jedi, we're still changing our opinion. Not changing drastically, but, you know, thinking of new things about that. So we're going to always be thinking of new things with Mando. And as more people watch, we'll have more people in the stream watching live. Those of you coming back to see this, you'll be able to join us. Keep an eye out for that. With a ton of builds throughout. There's still a few sets, actually, that I haven't built from this year's releases that I want to get round to doing. I think we built most of these ones, but there's a few others. So stay tuned for that as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Snow Blizzard, for bringing up the really interesting points because it helps talking to other people about this. Even just sat there after the movie as the music was playing, credits were rolling, chatting with Tings. And there's some things that I didn't notice, some things she didn't notice. and it's interesting to hear another side of the story. So I will see you Monday for more Mando. In fact, I will see you tomorrow night for the salvage when we crack open. I already opened the second box just to get the instructions in there, but we'll be continuing that salvage, which is a beautiful model. Oh, I don't have space for the UCS Razor Crest, but the UCS Razor Crest would look so good on display. I'm thinking an Adelphi base is coming here. Until then, thank you all so much, and may the bricks be with you.